Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to Professor and everyone. Today our group is going to present school motivation. Okay. First, before we start with our presentation, let me introduce our group members. Okay, our team members consists of 5 members. Okay, the first presenter is going to be me, Najwa binti Mat Ramli. Our second presenter is going to be Wan Muhammad Alif Afifi bin Wan Muhammad Fauzi. Our third presenter is Saiful bin Jaafar. The fourth presenter is going to be Shahrizan binti Ezarai, and the last presenter is Naziha binti Khalid.
Chapter 4, Individual in School, Motivation.
Okay, now let me start with the first slide of today, which is Maslow's theory of needs. Maslow's theory of need is a theory in psychology proposed by Abraham Maslow in his 1943 paper, A Theory of Human Motivation in Psychological Review. His theories parallel many other theories of human developmental psychology, some of which focus on describing the stages of growth in humans. He then created a classification system which reflected the universal needs of society as its base, and then proceeding to more acquired emotions. The theory assumptions are: individual needs are universal and arranged in hierarchy. Unfilled needs lead individuals to focus on those needs. And last, lower level needs must be satisfied before higher level needs become strong motivators. Maslow's hierarchy of needs is used to study how humans intrinsically partake in behavioral motivation. Maslow used the term physiological, safety and security, belongingness, esteem needs, and self-actualization needs to describe the pattern through which human motivations generally move. This means that in order for motivation to arise at the next stage, each stage must be satisfied within the individual themselves. Each of these individual levels contains a certain amount of internal sensation that must be met in order for an individual to complete their hierarchy. The goal in Maslow's theory is to attain the 5th level or of self-actualization. Now, let us go through the needs in Maslow's theory of needs. The first need is physiological need, which consists air, food, sleep, and etc. The second level of need is safety and security needs, which consists of protection against danger and threat. The third is belongingness needs, which is belonging to groups or having friends. The fourth need is esteem needs, which is self-respect and respect of others. And the final need is self-actualization needs, which is being all you can and finding your potential. Okay, let's move on to the next theory of Herzberg motivation hygiene. Okay, now we move on to Herzberg's motivation hygiene theory, 2 types of needs. Herzberg motivation hygiene theory was developed by psychologist Frederick Herzberg in 1950s. The 2-factor theory distinguishes between hygiene factors and motivators. According to Herzberg, hygiene factors are what cause dissatisfaction among employees in the workplace. In order to remove dissatisfaction in the work environment, these hygiene factors must be eliminated. There are several ways that this can be done, but some of the most important ways to decrease dissatisfaction would be to pay reasonable wages, ensure employees' job security, and to create a positive culture in the workplace. Herzberg considered the following hygiene factors from highest to lowest importance: company policy, supervision, employees' relationship with their boss, work conditions, salary, and relationships with peers. Eliminating dissatisfaction is only one half of the task of 2-factor theory. The other half would be to increase satisfaction in the workplace. This can be done by improving on motivating factors, which are growth, advancement, responsibility, the work itself, recognition, and achievement. Motivation factors are needed to motivate an employee to higher performance. Herzberg also further classified our actions and how and why we do them. For example, If you perform a work-related action because you have to, then that is classed as movement. But if you perform a work-related action because you want to, then that is classed as motivation. Herzberg thought it was important to eliminate job dissatisfaction before going on to creating conditions for job satisfaction because it would work against each other. Okay, another thing about this theory, the conclusion that he drew is that job satisfaction and job dissatisfaction are not opposites. The opposite of satisfaction is no satisfaction, while the opposite of dissatisfaction is no dissatisfaction. Remedying the causes of dissatisfaction will not create satisfaction, nor will adding the factors of job satisfaction eliminate job dissatisfaction. Let's say, if you have a hostile work environment, giving someone promotion will not make him or her satisfied. And if you create a healthy work environment, but do not provide members of your team with any of the satisfaction factors, the work they are still doing will still not be satisfying.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Wan Muhammad Alif Afifi bin Wan Muhammad Fauzi. So today I will be presenting need for achievement, need for autonomy, belief in causality, and also belief in ability. So the first one is need for achievement. Its definition is a desire for an accomplishment or mastering of skills or to take control of something or to have high standard. This also includes an intense, prolonged, and repeated efforts to accomplish something difficult. According to McClellan, 1985, achievement refers to the need to accomplish and overcome hard tasks, difficulties, and also obstructions. There is three characteristics for someone who strives for achievement. First of all, they will have a strong desire to take responsibility, to perform a task, or to solve a problem. They prefer to have a competent co-workers instead of co-workers based on friendship alone. According to Minor, 1980, a credit as important as the responsibility for this high achievement individual. They are also attracted to rewards for performance system according to Turban and Keon, 1993. Second, these individuals tend to set moderately difficult goals and take immediate level of risk. In easy way to understand, depending on their levels, they will choose the hardest task since the easier task can be done by other people. They also tend to play with the risk since for them it is more enjoyable, according to Minor, 2002. The third one, people with high achievement love to have a feedback. They want to calculate their strengths and weakness and also opportunity that they may grab, according to Shevington, 1991. Alright, motivation actually is learned in an early age and will influence by child rearing practice and parents. Motivation can be strengthened through training by instilling four things. First, establishing situation in which individual can succeed. Second, placing emphasis on setting reasonable and achievement goals. Third, accepting personal responsibility for performance. And the last one, providing clear feedback on performance. In conclusion, motivation can be nourished through training and will bring a good or favorable consequences. Next is the need for autonomy. Its definition is a self-determination where we can choose to act independently according to what we have desire. In an easier way, we can understand that autonomy is something that we can do. They will have a higher self-esteem and feel more competent. To enhance self-autonomy, they must need to be encouraged by making their own choice and accepting the consequences of their own choice. Either it will be good or bad. Belief about causality. Human is always seeking and thirsting for knowledge. Therefore, by using everything they have, they will try to create an explanation for the situation. Theory of attributing refer to people attributing feelings, belief, intention, and then creating a connection by using three of that to build the understanding. In the Educational Administration book, Weiner, 2000, have mentioned that individual successfulness or failure can be characterized by three dimensions of causality. First, locus is the internal and external cause. The internal refers to the ability and efforts of individuals, while the external refers to difficulty of the situation. Second, stability. Can it be fixed or changed? Human ability is relatively fixed, but efforts is vary from any situation to another. That means human ability cannot be changed and is stable, but the effort can be changed and is unstable depending on the mood or motivation and the other factors. The third one is responsibility. A controllable like people effort or uncontrollable like human ability limitation. Like I said before, effort is something that can be manageable by human depending on motivation and other factors. Okay, but human ability limitation is something that is uncontrollable. Belief about ability. Belief is the most powerful attribution that affects motivation and behavior. By believing something, people will set high expectation on it, including on one's ability. In the book, Dweck 2000 state there is two general view of ability. First, human view ability as a stable view or entity view. It is a stable and uncontrollable trait such as individual characteristic, and it cannot be changed. As example, Ahmad is a perfectionist, so his work will be automatically organized and he will dislike anything or anyone that may disturb his work. Second view about ability is the incremental view. In other hands, mean unstable but controllable ability. Ability can be improved. In brief, if someone's belief their ability can be improved, they will work toward it and then will achieve it by time.
Assalamualaikum, I am Saiful bin Jafar. I will presenting two theories about beliefs. The first is beliefs about fairness, Green's equity theories, and organization. The basic unfairness in the workplace is what some theories, Greenberg's 1993, Taylor 1994, Folger 2005, bring us to yet another perspective on motivation called equity theory, which focus on perceived fairness, individual beliefs about whether they are being treated fairly or not. Equity theory suggests that key mechanism for such decision is comparison. We compare ourselves and our own plight with others. Individuals attempt to reduce feelings of inequity by, first, they are try to get increased benefit, get a rise. Second, they try to leave, quit and find another job. And third, they reduce their input, expend less effort on the job. How can principal create a school atmosphere that perceived as fair and just? They are summarized 10 principles of organization justice. The first is equity principle. Reward should be proportion to contribution. Second, perception principle. Individual perception of fairness define justice. Third, the voice principle. Participation in decision enhance fairness. Fourth, interpersonal justice principle. Dignify and respectful treatment promotes fairness. Fifth, consistency principle. Consistency, fair behavior promotes a sense of justice. Sixth, egalitarian principle. Self-interest should be subordinate to good or whole. 7. Correction principle. Faulty decision should be quickly corrected. 8. Accuracy principle. Decision should be anchored and accurate information. 9th. Representative principle. Decision should represent those concerned. And 10. Ethical principle. Existing moral and ethical standard should prevail. Next is belief about outcomes. Vroom's expectancy theory. Expectancy theory have two fundamental premises. First, individuals make decisions their behavior in organization. Second, people evaluate subjectively the expected value of outcomes. Expectancy theory builds on this assumption with three fundamental concepts. The first is expectancy. Expectancy is extent to which an individual believes that hard work will lead to improvement. The second is instrumentality. The good performance will be noticed and rewarded. Instrumentality is high when individuals perceive a strong association between performance and being rewarded. The third is valence. Valence is the perceived value or attractiveness of a reward. The concept of valence is similar to the concept of values, that is, what people consider or believe beneficial to their welfare or important in its own right. The interaction suggests that motivation will not be strong if any of the three elements is
Assalamualaikum. Okay, now I continue with belief about capacity from Madura's self-efficacy theory. Okay, first, self-efficacy theory relates to person's perception of their ability to achieve a goal. Albert Bandura says, self-efficacy is a belief in one's ability to influence events that affect one and control over the way these events are experienced. So now I give you a model of teacher efficacy. Okay, what is teacher efficacy? Teachers believe in his or her capability to organize and execute courses of action required to successfully accomplish a specific teaching task in a particular context. So we have here 4 sources to increase self-efficacy or sources of efficacy. Number 1 is physiological cue. Okay, judge our self-efficacy by how we perceive. Okay, number 2, verbal persuasion. Be more confident, and confident can master a task through words of encouragement. Okay, number 3, vicarious experience, modeling. We watch people like yourself successfully accomplish something like. Okay, and last one is mastery experience, like we repeated the best practices. Okay, and practice is very most important. Then all 4 sources are important in the interpretation and cognitive processing of information. So what we have here, we have analysis of the teaching task and also assessment of teaching competence. Okay, in analyze the teaching task and its context, the relative importance of factor that make teaching difficult or act as constraint is weighed against, and assessment of the resources available that facilitate learning. Okay, meanwhile in assessing self-perception of teaching competence, the teacher judge personal capabilities such as skill, knowledge, strategy or personality trait balanced against personal weaknesses or liabilities in this particular teaching context. Okay, these 2 components leads to judgment about self-efficacy for teaching tasks at hand. Then we have here consequences of teacher efficacy. The first one is effort, number 2 persistence, and number 3 is success. Okay, it depends on extent to which a teacher believe he or she has the capability to organize and execute teaching that will lead to successful learning in specific situation. So with high effort, with high persistence and high success will lead high performance. Next, we go to theory of motivation goal setting by Locke's goal theory. Locke's goal setting theory is an integrative model of motivation, just like the expectancy theory. Okay, from his research, Locke concluded that employees were motivated by clear and specific goals where constructive feedback provided. Here are characteristics of effective goal. Number 1, goal must be specific. Specific goals are generally more effective than general goal. Number 2, goal must be challenging. Okay, the more challenged, the more motivation. Number 3, goal must be attainable. Difficult but attainable goals are more effective than easy one. And number 4, embrace. To be effective, goals must be embraced by individual. Okay, here are effective way of increasing motivation and performance. Next, goal mechanism. Okay, explain the positive effect of goal on action. Number 1, goals focus attention. Number 2, goals mobilize efforts. Number 3, goals enhance persistence. And number 4, goals develop specific task strategy, which is promote the development of strategy for success. Then we have the performance by both characteristic and mechanism. Okay, goal setting theory suggests that specific and challenging but attainable goals can and often do increase motivation because such goals lead to increased focus, effort and persistence, as well as the development of specific task strategy to accomplish the goal. Then feedback. Okay, actual versus desired behavior about progress toward achieving goals reinforces attention, effort and persistence, or provides information for refining and altering the strategy to make it more effective.
Assalamualaikum to all. I am Naziha Colette and I will present the next topic, intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. First of all, I would like everyone to look at this picture. It is about 2 boys playing in a game of football. They were just playing at the park nearby their house. The first boy with a picture of smiling emoji is a school football player who loves football. He was asked to join the game by one of his neighbors. He knows that this is just a friendly game and it was just for fun. But he agreed to join because he really loves playing football. And also he wondered if the other boy is a good football player. The second boy is one of his neighbor's friend. He was just an average football player, but he was actually challenged by his friend to score against the first boy. The stake was, if he wins, his friend will give him RM10 ringgit, But if he loses, he will have to do his friend mathematics homework. So he was eager to play because he wanted to win. This scenario is a very good example of intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. The first boy is actually having intrinsic motivation to play the game. His reason for playing is internal or intrinsic. Intrinsic motivation comes from such factors such as interest and curiosity in the task itself, and for own sake and personal reward. Natural tendency to seek and accept challenge to pursue personal interest is shown in intrinsic motivation. The second boy is an example of extrinsic motivation. His reason is external or extrinsic. He was acting based on reward and punishment. In extrinsic motivation, people will give effort when they expect to get something in return or to avoid something unpleasant. In other words, they are interested in the activity because of the consequences, such as having incentive and disincentives that comes. The next topic that I will present, and also the last topic, will be 10 key assumptions and principles when it comes to motivation. First, individuals work hard when their lower level needs of safety and security are met, while higher level needs are challenged by the task. Number 2, if individuals have the requisite knowledge and skill to perform a task, then their embrace of specific challenging and attainable goal produces success. Number 3, difficult goals, if accepted, produce higher level of performance than easy goals. Number 4, individuals work hard when they believe that causes for success are under their control. Number 5, organizational justice enhances the acceptance of organizational outcomes. 6, individuals are highly motivated when they believe extra effort will be rewarded by outcomes that they desire. Number 7, self-efficacy belief determine what goal challenges to undertake, how much effort to exert, and how long to persist. Thus, a strong sense of capability to perform a task promotes success. Number 8, motivation to avoid failure is usually counterproductive to success, whereas motivation to achieve is a powerful impetus to success. Number 9, anxiety improves performance on simple tasks, but hinder performance on complex tasks. Number 10, people will work hard to solve problems that have personal meaning, that is, problems that are intriguing, challenging, and enjoyable. These 10 key assumptions and principles can be a good guidelines for future leaders in order to motivate their employees to achieve goals.
These are the list of references that we have been using in our presentation. Thank you for your time and keep on motivated.